Hello everyone, it's a beautiful day here in Lagos and we're reaching you live from our Lagos studios. And what makes it more beautiful is the fact that you're there watching. And today we'll be talking about the World Girl Child Day. And we can't but remember this day because we all know what's been happening in the country regarding the Chibok girls. I wouldn't be talking about this alone. I have with me somebody who is also in the same field as a broadcaster who will be doing this with me, in the person of Janik Cooper. Nice to have you here.
Hi, how are you? Hi everyone, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Okay, so we're talking about the girl child today.
Right.
And of course, I'll say happy girl child day because
Yes, come on, let's shake on it.
which extended from
Right.
the girl to the chick to the woman.
Right,
From,
exactly.
What do they say now? From girls to women. Boys to
Yeah, from girls to women.
Okay, yeah, so we're here today. So can you share your experience as a child, as a girl child, and then to this point you are today?
Okay, so I'll keep it pretty short. Okay, growing up in West Africa as a whole and, having a very strong, female role model, the matriarch in my family was my mom. She's very strict. I remember back in when we were kids, we would sneak out of the house, to go to a friend's house, and 5 minutes later, my brother would come like, "Mommy says go home." We had to learn how to wash our clothes and stuff like that. And looking back at that now, when I went to the States and I grew up, the parental structure is not as strict. Kids have what you call rights, as opposed to the African mentality where spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yeah.
If you spare the rod, spoil the child back in the States in the diaspora, you could call 911 or something like that. So, but basically trying to get back to the idea that everything my strong mother, the female role model, instilled in me is what I carry as an adult. As a woman, I don't resent her for it. I'm strong, I'm black, I'm proud,
And beautiful.
And thank you, you too, you as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, living abroad for so long.
20-something years, yeah.
That's a long time. 20-something years. Yeah, and then having the idea of the strict parent here and going over there is not as bad, yeah? How does it come to play in helping a child grow?
Okay, I'm a firm believer in not spoiling your children, because I believe that the children are the future of tomorrow, Just because I don't believe in, mercilessly beating children, but I do believe in discipline. I believe that right is right and wrong is wrong. And what you instill in your child is what they're going to grow up and give to the world, The family unit is the first constitution or institution that a child is exposed to. So if you don't take care of your child and you don't discipline your child and you don't teach them how to value things, to have strong will and not to be easily persuaded, when they go out into the world, they're easily influenced, and we all know how that ends up.
Okay, so it goes better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, okay, still on the girl child, let's talk about the factors responsible for why a girl child is undermined in a country such as ours. Would you blame it on the parents? Would you blame it on the society? Or would you, who should be blamed for this? Is it lack of education, or the government is not doing enough?
Everything you said, everyone has to take a blame, because the child leaves the house, the parents are in charge. The child goes out to the world, goes to school, the teachers are responsible. The child goes off to university, even though the professors don't have that strong hand on them, but they still have an influence, So I think a lot of the formation and the formative years of children, it has a lot to do with having good role models, and having people who, what I've learned from living in the diaspora is you allow the children to express themselves, African parents, my mom, for example, is, this is American children, you're talking, and you don't feel good. But it's not that I'm trying to be, disrespectful. It's, if you give me the platform to open up, I'm going to be comfortable enough with you to bring out my true self, So as far as the girl child goes, um, everyone plays a part, in forming who she becomes as a woman, It starts from home. I'll say that because before you send your child into the world, you're the one nurturing her. So, it's a lot of responsibility because I have a lot of nieces that I love, and my siblings tell me I spoil them, but I'm pretty strict when it's needed, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's look at a country such as ours, yeah, where
Nigeria.
where we actually have leaders who encourage child marriage and all that. I mean, if you have to fight something like that, it comes from the top. How do you think it's possible in a country such as ours to eradicate or even curb the wrongs happening to the girl child?
I believe it is. I believe it is. It's a lot of bureaucracy when it comes to that, because in order to be the change that you want to see, you have to start from yourself. Most people, they don't see the bigger picture. They see what's in front of them. This is something that's been going on for generations, even before you and I were even born into this world. The girl child is the most fragile, yet she's the most powerful. Her influence supersedes everything. Her influence supersedes her brothers, her friends, her male friends, real male role models. It's going to have to start from. I know it sounds so kumbaya, but it's going to have to start from you and me. You and I.
Can you shed some light?
Okay, because Michael Jackson has this song "Man in the Mirror," right? I'm starting with the man in the mirror, and I believe our society, especially in Nigeria and West Africa as a whole, it's a patriarchal society. The males are more dominant. Even though I do feel it's a female world, it's a woman's world. Men just live in there; they just don't know yet, But girl power, But from what I'm trying to say, is, it has to start small, and then it's going to have a domino effect and a trickle effect, because people in power are not going to make the change. People in power tell us what we want to hear, and then once they get there, it's a whole different dynamic, I think it has to be you and I have to make people believe in that the power of the person is important, that I, as an individual, I can make the change, So it starts small. It starts from your sisters, your aunts, your neighbors. We all have to, definitely you, the viewers, we all have to keep going. You see, Rome wasn't built in a day. They say Oprah wasn't built in a day either. So it's baby steps, but we may not get to reap the benefits of those baby steps. Maybe our children would be lucky enough to have equal rights, and to be valued and respected because they're females,
Yeah, that's a good thing that you said it starts with you and I, and that is a lot. The theme for this year's Girl Child is Girls Progress, Goals Progress. Well, I know you've talked about it, and that means we'll have to be positive that this is going to work at the end of the day. And now let's take a shift into what has happened in our country. It's always all about our country.
No, it's true, because that's our reality.
The Chibok girls.
Oh, man.
A story that is known all around the world, and for over 900 days, these girls are still missing. So, do you think the Nigerian government has done enough in securing the girls?
To be absolutely honest, I don't think so.
Why would you say that?
Because I believe with such influence, with such, so many powerful people in government right now, there's a way, and I'm sure there are, tactics they could use to get more information. It's the idea that, this is how I feel, if something doesn't happen close to home, you don't get affected, as opposed to saying, okay, my neighbor's house got robbed. Oh, but once it's closer to you, you feel the impact of that. These girls are poor, very, low class, and they're basically just living day-to-day life, you know, and if they had more influence, you know, and maybe they had more, you know, to give incentive, I feel like maybe more would have been done, because it's all over the world, you know. How is this possible? How can this happen? What is going on? What is going on in West Africa? You know, what's going on in Nigeria? So I really do think more things could be done, but
okay, in conclusion.
it's just me.
Oh, good. Well, everyone has it for
Right.
the girls to.
We just pray they come back.
We pray something is done real soon. In conclusion, what do you think could be done now? You're reaching out to mothers out there. Yeah. What do you think can be done to empower and build a better future for the girl child?
So should I talk to them? They're mothers. I'm not a mother, but I'm a mother figure, you know. It takes, what do they say? It takes a whole village to raise a child, right? We all have the power to influence our young. It's so important to me. It's something I'm passionate about, because I know how much it changed me and it made me who I was, to be surrounded by powerful, strong, you know, role models, male and female, you know. So I think we shouldn't ignore our children. You know, kids are different, you know. Some may end up being doctors, some may be artists, you know. Some may not be good in school, and some may just have a different way of learning, you know. No child is smarter than the other. No child is better than the other, because children pay attention to that, you know. They're very intuitive and they're very smart. And I think with the African culture, we see that as like baby and the child, this. But no, we're human beings, and we love to know that people care. We like to know that we're seen, you know, as the individual, as opposed to, you know, Mrs. Lola's daughter or something like that, you know. So I think we should just allow each other to embrace the child, because we have so much power and we don't even know it, you know. And it makes a lot of difference. So
yeah, it does make a lot of difference, and it's been really nice chatting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cooper, yeah.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Okay, that's all we're gonna take on the lifestyle segment of Personalities with Life. I am Tony Martin. Goodbye. Following a nationwide crackdown of the homes of judges over allegations of corruption and bribery by the Department of State Services on the 7th of October, 7 judges of the Supreme, Federal and State High Courts across the country's home were raided. At a statement released by the service, it said over 360 million naira was recovered from the homes of 3 judges. Mixed reactions have continued to trail the arrests. Speaking to lawyers in Lagos, they revealed the raid was a welcome development.
I support it in entirety. I support it totally. They are citizens of Nigeria and they are not above the law, and they should be subjected to the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So I support it entirely.
First and foremost, we have to put all the issues in clear perspectives. Number one is that the judges are not immune to arrest or prosecution. But also, if you look at the provisions of the law establishing the National Judicial Council, you find out that the disciplinary measures against judicial officers are well taken within the confines of this provision. And one had expected that if there are disciplinary allegations of crime, that the investigation should be decently done. I mean, going to storming their houses at that very odd hour does not speak well of the political leadership, and I think that is where some of us have some very strong misgivings about the propriety of the entire process.
Where it depends on personal opinion, it depends from the angle you are looking at it.
Well, the position of judiciary, we say it's a noble profession that need to be protected. So if the way and manner they were arrested, it depends the angle you are looking at it. We can call it's a slap to the judiciary, it's a slap to the system, and it can ridicule the system as well, because the NJC need to be informed, you understand, and the level of the people that have been arrested, these are the people that have a high profile, that can as well be invited in a well process of rule of law, you understand. So there is nothing hidden, and we should not be rushing for justice in that manner. But if you look at it in another manner, because of the way Nigerians, the way we look, we don't believe ourselves, the DSS arrest can also be justified, because everybody has been smart in these days, but that will not warrant the action of DSS to override the rule of law.
Obviously, we're going through a fight over corruption, and of course we've started with the judiciary, with the ESCO, the executive, the Dasuki Gate, and of course it dovetailed to the legislature, and of course the Jibril thing is boiling and cooking in the House of Reps. So obviously if it gets to the judiciary, it's worried. And why will I say it's worried in the judiciary? Because obviously the rate at which conflicting judgments were churned out recently is quite alarming and embarrassing to us members of the legal profession, because we know that the legal profession is built on the principle called stare decisis, and stare decisis means something that has been established cannot be uprooted like that, because laws are based on principles, and these principles are there, and of course one thing is built on the other, and of course we found out that most of the time this conflicting judgment depart from the rules, as we say, and of course it's quite embarrassing to the legal profession. And of course, to confirm it, the chief judge of the country some few days ago confirmed that indeed corruption is really embedded in the judiciary, to the extent that indeed one of the judges has not even been dismissed but has been handed over for prosecution. And to that extent, to me, it's a right step in the right direction. And of course, those who are shouting that here is the rule of law, rule of law, rule of law. I go to prisons regularly to see people. You find poor people there in the prisons. Aren't they entitled to the rule of law? And are these not these judges that are encouraging the impunity too, for people to be incarcerated for long? So to me, nobody is above the law.
It is very, very unfair to have arrested a judge of a high court or a Supreme Court in this dispensation. They have to follow the rule of law, and they should know that the judiciary is independent. By arresting a judge around 1 a.m., it's unbelievable and it's very uncharitable.
The recent arrest of the judges is, to say the least, most unfortunate. This is a democratic setting where the federal government is supposed to employ due process in arresting whoever is alleged to have committed an offense or been found wanting in corruption. In this case, the DSS acted outside their powers, because if you look at the extant law that established the DSS or the SSS, as the case might be, you'll find out that that particular law gave them, spelled out their responsibilities, and that is to provide internal security for the presidency and internal security for the state governors and the state government. You understand? So the NJC, National Judicial Council, is charged with the responsibility of discipline erring judges. Okay. In this case, the DSS or the federal government bypassed the NJC and went to arrest these judges. They went even at the dead of the night, 1 a.m., broke into their houses. These were judges that were not armed. These were judges that were not running. You understand? So it's complete recklessness, is a threat to the ecosystem, because what the federal government have done now is to create a precedent that will give us the run of our life, because most judges now, many judges will not be able to write their judgments again because they don't know what will happen. They want to tend to the government.
It will be recalled that during one of the raids, the governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, waded into the operation, an action condemned by some members of the bar. According to them, the fight against corruption should leave no stone unturned.
particularly was involved, that Wike actually knew the individual judge that was involved. I think it was a blanket step that he took, and I don't have any reasons to question the propriety of that step, because two wrongs do not make a right. And I think that the government reserves the right to effect arrests if it has enough grounds to do that, but you must do that within the confines of the law. Whether you are fighting corruption or not, you must follow due process. Constitutional democracy is all about due process. And for those of us that are constitutional lawyers and actively involved in human rights cases, I think the government has not done very well.
That is a completely an obstruction of justice, obstruction of the officials performing their lawful duties. It's completely, in fact, it's Nigeria where everything goes. Why should a governor go and obstruct the DSS while they are performing their functions? Why? It's only in Nigeria that it can happen, and it is very, very bad. It's sad.
Obviously, it means that he has an interest to protect. Obviously, for a judge to descend to that level, then definitely, and sorry, for a governor to descend to that level of leaving his office, and this event took place in the midnight, then obviously the governor too has to be investigated. I mean, because just as I told you, nobody is above the law. No doubt, yes, the man is covered with immunity, but Section 45 is there. And in fact, Section 308, if it's found that indeed they are taking steps against the security of the state, because for information, what they are accused for is not only corruption but money laundering.
On a different note, this lawyer disagrees to the manner in which the raids were carried out.
If you cannot arrest a governor anyhow, I don't see any reason why you must arrest a Supreme Court judge anyhow. No, this is the highest temple, and we are not giving respect to the judges or to the judges, but we are giving respect to the temple. It's like when you said you want to arrest the chief of army staff. You cannot just went into the army quarters and said chief of army staff and be arrested anyhow. So I believe the manner of arrest need to be looking into.
You know that in the course of fighting crime, that there is no time frame within which to effect arrest. But there are so many other reasons, so many other factors that you have to factor, so many other issues you must take into consideration. One is whether the person you want to arrest is absconding. These are officers that are known within the judicial system. There are people, any decent person could have invited in a most decent manner, and of course there wouldn't have been any reason for them to refuse an invitation, especially if there are strong indications of crime. But the way things are being done now, of course, you know what is going on in the case of the Ekweremadu and the Senate President. Of course, we understand that there has been a discontinuance in respect of that matter.
It just shows that nobody is above the law. The rule of law prevails over each and every person. So the officers of courts, judicial officers, have always been held in very, very, almost next to sacred. So for the state authorities to move against them in the manner of common criminals is very unusual. But it also reinforces the basic tenets of the rule of law. Nobody is above the law if there's material to show that you have flouted the law.
According to the DSS, the raid was aimed at restoring sanity and sanctity to the esteemed third arm of government in the interest of the society. Tolu Omotunde, Ben TV Lagos.
Yes, it's the entertainment segment of Personals Rely on Ben TV, the first ethnic satellite TV station in the UK. And of course, you know how we do it. We've got style. And because we've got style, that's why we've got Ara in the house, the stylish lady. This is a woman who is done us proud as Nigerians. She's been everywhere in diaspora. And of course, she's live on set in our studio today. We're going to be talking to Aralola Olumuyiwa. And of course, we're talking about her career, what she's been doing lately, and of course, a lot more about African music. Don't go away, we'll be right back. my privilege to introduce to you Hara, live in the house. Hi.
How are you, sir?
Good to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
We've not heard about Hara for quite a while. What's happening?
Wow, yeah. Let me say first that in this part of the country, people hardly promote culture. And that is why people like myself are more out there than in Nigeria, where we are more appreciated. I guess because it's our own thing, we don't see it as something new or something to celebrate as much as, you know, the people out there. So I would go where my act will be more appreciated, and foremost for me is to create this awareness burning in my heart to the entire world to know about my culture, to know my cultural heritage and what I stand for as a woman, an African woman.
Fantastic, great. I mean, you've been in music for how long now? And tell me what prompted you into music, and how long have you been playing commercial music?
I've been in music for well over 25 years now.
Fantastic.
Yes. Playing commercial music started in 1987. That was my first time ever on television.
And how old were you then?
I'm 41 now.
Okay.
So I guess I must have been in my early teens. So, yeah. For me, it's commercial music. Yes, it's been good to me. The business aspect, making money, but not as much as it would have been for us to take this message to the world. I keep repeating taking this message to the world because this is where it all started from. Africa, Nigeria, motherland. And I believe that someday soon we will all come to the realization, especially with the new Ooni of Ife, Obadeyeye Enito, Babatunde Ogunwusi. He's a king chosen by God and the ancestors, and he has come as a light for the Yoruba race, and he's going to take the entire culture, this whole thing, he's going to take it around the world. So I'm excited. My efforts have not been in vain. Now the world is going to know more about us.
Fantastic, you believe so?
I believe strongly so.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah. Let's talk about your music now, your brand of music. How will I describe your brand of music? Is it Akpala? Is it Fuji? Is it Kalango? How will I describe it?
Okay, my kind of music is called Gongon Fusion. This is Gongon, the talking drum. Now this special and unique and spiritual instrument can be infused into any genre of music. Any, just name it. For the first time it was, I played on the UNESCO World Stage in Paris. It was a Mozart piece, and I infused a talking drum. It was a standing ovation because they didn't believe it could be done. And I played I played Iyailu, I played the Gongo, and I played Bata. So for me, whatever kind of music I find myself, whatever music is brought to me, like I played on Stevie Wonder's last album, the one he did some years ago, I played
Your title?
If Your Love Cannot Be Moved, featuring Kim Burrell. The album is A Time to Love, the Time to Love album. I played 4 instruments. I played Omele Bata, I played Iyailu, I played Gongo, and I played Iyabata on that, and it sounded awesome. It sounded beautiful.
That's
so
world class.
Thank you. So it's Gongo Fusion. That's what I play.
Okay. Do you know the originality of Gongo?
Yes.
Where does it come from?
It comes from Oyo. That's
Not Iseyin.
Iseyin in Oyo. Now that's why we have a whole lot of drummers from that part of the world. But the first person that made the talking drum popular is Timi Ofede.
Timi Ofede. That sounds like someone from Benin.
The talking drum is from Oyo, but of course we all know that there's nowhere in Yoruba land that the talking drum is not respected. Everyone, wherever you're from, if I'm from the Orino, the source, which is Ife.
I know Hara. Well, nice musical, nice big branded, and of course, you've been a brand to Ondo State, where you come from. Why is that? You always appear in all the activities, and of course, you're a brand ambassador. How have you impacted on the youth who are aspiring to be musicians from that state?
Well, I like to see myself first and foremost as a global citizen, a Nigerian, and Omo Odua. Be it Ondo, be it Ife, be it Oyo, be it Egba, anywhere. Being a cultural ambassador for the state Ondo, where my dad is from, is a great privilege. We have different programs that we've aligned, we've been working on with different youths. We have a lot of them who want to play talking drum. We have a lot of even females who have come up. Also, Lagos State last year, His Excellency Governor Ambode appointed me cultural ambassador for Lagos State. We're about to make that official right now. What am I saying in essence is ARA is not just about Ondo or Ife or Yo or, ARA is...
From resource. Yes. Okay, fantastic, great. Okay, the talking drums sends a message across to the listener or the music fan. What can you do with the talking drums right now? Just tell me. Do something with it and tell me what you're trying to tell me. What you're trying to express with the talking drum. Oh, great. Tell me what you're trying to express.
The person I said was Ologini.
What does that mean in English?
The cat, as in Ologini is the cat, Omoekun is a kid, a lion. Yeah, now the cat family, the lion and the cat are both in the cat family. So when you see someone of your kind, you say, oh, Ologini Romekun, Awarawadi. We have
like birds of the same feather flock together. Kind of. Yes.
Kind of. If I see an iron now, I will play. Even if I don't say anything, or even most times I go out and I'm not even playing, and we have talking drummers there. They will say Ologini Romekun, Awarawadi, just to let me know that we are.
That's a fraternity. Fantastic. That's good.
Another one was Ewomi Etumiwu. Èmi kì í ṣọmọ kọ́mọ tó ń dalérú, èmi kì í ṣọmọ kọ́mọ tó ń balé jẹ́. Ewomi Etumiwu. That is, look at me. I am a child that brings honor to my family, to my land. I am not
bastard child.
No, I am not a bastard child.
Yes.
The nuisance to the society.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you combine family life and music?
Combining family life is easy for me. I have a 7-year-old son. Of course, when he was a baby, I took him everywhere. I took a short break because I wanted to give him the best. I had always wanted to be a mother. So I breastfed him for like 3 years, even when he was going to school and all of that. Right now, I'm a single parent. The aspect that I could say is a bit difficult is when I have to be away from my son and I have to go work. But I do tell him I'm doing all of this for us. I thank God that he's very intelligent and is very compassionate, and is God's greatest gift to me. So I have people who help, my mom, and I have people who work around the house as well.
Is the music worth it financially to you?
Yes, but not as I would have wanted it to be.
So do you think they appreciate the style of music in this part of the world?
No.
And why is that?
I don't know. Everyone wants, like I said the first time I sat down here, I said, they don't appreciate what we do here. That's why you say Asha is not here.
Because she's in Paris?
Yeah. She can't be here. If she was here, she wouldn't be that big. You see Femi Kuti, is always in and out. You see Seun Kuti, is always in and out. Lagbaja, beautiful Nubia. Those are the kind of people who we in the same, you know, drum of music. We are not really appreciated here, and that is why we go out there. Very few people.
Are you in any international level?
No.
Or are you an international promoter?
No, I don't.
So how do you get your shows across in Europe and America?
They call us in Nigeria.
And you do that regularly?
Oh yes.
That's fantastic. Okay, let's go to your stage performance now. What gives you that swag? When you get on stage, you give them that, you know, stage presence, and, you know, let the people feel the music. And do you have a live band? Do you do live music, or do you do just, you know, play and go like DJs playing the CD and you sing it?
There's no way I would do a play and go. I have a full band of about 21, a 21-man band. Okay. Of course, we don't travel all the time with a 21-man band. We cut sometimes if they need be, due to the budgets of our clients. When I get on stage, off stage I'm shy, but once I pick the talking drum, God, I don't know, everything just changes, and the drum takes over, and I do my thing.
So you get spirit feels right from the inside, and it takes you up?
Right from the inside, and it takes me up. When Ara is on stage, Ara is in control of our world. She's a goddess, and she just takes over.
Okay.
Yes.
Who are your role model in music? I mean, you should have somebody you have always loved to be like when you started your career.
Yes. My role model growing up was Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson?
Yes.
He doesn't play African music?
I just wanted to dance because I love dancing. Of course, I played the traditional drums. At that point in time, there was no talking. I mean, I wasn't playing the talking drum. I just wanted to dance like Michael Jackson, you know. Of course, my father had a whole lot of collection, from Ogunde to Fela to Ike Dairo, Comfort Omoge, King Sunny Ade, Ebenezer Obey, Orlando Owo, you know. Of course, Stevie Wonder, a whole lot like that. But the only person that caught my attention was Michael, and for a whole lot of reasons. Unfortunately, I never got to meet him. Now, in Nigeria, King Sunny Ade, I loved his dancing steps. I think it also started with dancing for me.
He's an enigma.
He is an enigma. For me, King Sunny Ade. Then, of course, I got to know Christy Esi Anibukwe, God bless her memory, when she did the Omo Missionary, and then Onyanka Owenu. Of course, Stella Moye, you know. So these are people. Then I was madly in love with Fela. Oh yes, I was.
Okay.
I was. Of course, Hubert Ogunde, you know. So those were my influences growing up.
Do you write your script? Do you compose songs?
Yes, I do.
Do you dance a lot?
I love.
You're a great dancer?
Oh yes, I am.
Okay. We're going to have a look at some of your videos. Our viewers, we're going to be playing some of our music, and you get to see what Ara is made of. But before we go, because time is not on our side right now, let's put a word across to all your fans in the diaspora watching you on our global platform right now. You want to say hello to them, give some words about you and what they should expect in the coming years from you.
Okay. How are you, everyone? It's my pleasure and a privilege to be able to speak to you through this medium. Playing the talking drum has been one of the most wonderful experiences of my life, and I want to call on you to come to Motherland. Come and feel the powerful nature. Come and feel and experience our deep cultural heritage. I'll tell you, Nigeria is one place you need to come to, especially to the source in Ile-Ife or Oyo. Come to Lagos, go to Ondo, go to Abeokuta. There's so much for you to see. Now, I'm not being tribalistic, but I'm speaking to you about what I know, what I'm sure of, and what I'm certain when you come down here, you will enjoy. From Ara, over 25 years of my career, I've never released an album. I've been a performer. But I tell you, very, very, very soon, you will be able to take a part of me with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ara, for coming on the set today. Really appreciate you. But just one order before you go. You need to cross this. Give us an a cappella and, of course, a bit of the gong.
Wow, okay. Ero carele ife, ero carele ife, ile ife oye, ero carele ife.
Thank you. I wish I can go on and on, but time is not a very good friend of ours today. But I mean, we really appreciate you coming on set on Ben Television. And of course, we believe that whenever you are in London, you can stop by at our studios in London.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you very much. And let's know when you have a show so we can come around and have a look at what you're doing. It's a pleasure having you today. Thank you. Viewers, it's been a very interesting discourse with a lady of style, Ara. She's known everywhere, and she's good at doing what she knows how to do, playing the talking drum and giving good music to music lovers. Hope you enjoyed that segment. Personalities Larry goes on. We'll see you on the other side.